There are two types of editing that are used throughout the film industry, and those are continuity editing and discontinuity editing. Continuity editing is the technique that is widely used in the film industry today. This type of editing is the best way to clearly and coherently tell a story because of the way the shots flow together. According to the textbook, Looking at Movies, written by Richard Barsom and David Monahan, continuity editing, now the dominant style of editing worldwide, seeks to achieve logic, smoothness, sequential flow, and the temporal and spatial orientation of viewers to see what they see on screen. This is probably the dominant editing technique because it is the best way to tell a story that makes sense to the audience. Discontinuity editing, on the other hand, is defined by the textbook as breaking the rules of continuity editing by seeking to achieve transitions between shots that are not smooth, continuous, or coherent. It permits a filmmaker to make abrupt shifts between shots, resulting in mismatches in the location of characters or objects, the direction or speed of movement, mise-en-scène, lighting, camera angles, or even colors. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a 1960s film directed by Stanley Kubrick that tells the story of how humans have evolved into intelligent beings that are able to reach the moon's surface. It shows how much technology has changed. The film starts out by showing a sequence of early humans called the Dawn of Man. During the sequence, it shows an ape with a bone in his hand. Something is sparked in him that the viewer doesn't quite understand. Maybe it is the fact that the bone he's found can be used as a weapon. In fact, in 1968, Roger Ebert explained this by saying, "They then discover that they are able to pick up a club and use it as a tool, at first for killing, then for more subtle ends." When the ape throws the bone in the air, we get this wonderful type of continuity editing called graphic matchup. This happens when the bone is thrown in the air and the shot smoothly shifts, showing a similar shaped shuttle in space. This shows the technological changes that humans have made over billions of years. 2001: A Space Odyssey has examples of both discontinuity editing and continuity editing. The previously stated scene is one example of continuity. An example of discontinuity editing would be in the very beginning after the apes find the monolith, and the story goes to an ape in midday after the monolith scene. It keeps going back and forth between the two, so it shows the monkey, then the monolith, then the monkey again, etc. That sequence of imagery can confuse the viewer. An explanation of this from the eyes of Mark Hughes states, "The monolith comes and sparks some change in the minds of the early humans. They learn aggression and to strike out using simple tools. This aggression allows them to start controlling their environment rather than being dominated by it, and they learn to kill in order to eat and survive." Although Hughes is not an acclaimed filmmaker or editor, his take on this sequence seems to make the best sense to me. However, Roger Ebert does not think it needs to make sense at all. His journal reads, question, "How many monoliths are there?" And his answer to that is, one for every time Kubrick needs one in his film. Now it would seem that these are obvious observations, but audiences don't like simple answers. They want the monolith to stand for something. Well, it does. It stands for a monolith without explanation. This quote shows that the monolith may not have been put in the scene to mean anything in specific. Kubrick may have used this discontinuity just to make us wonder what the monolith was and where it came from. Just by these few examples, we can see that Kubrick and Lovejoy used both continuous and discontinuous editing techniques all throughout Part 1 of his film, 2001: A Space Odyssey. Using both styles makes the film even more interesting to watch.